We're talking about none other than Tamika "Tiny" Harris, the singer, songwriter, reality TV star, and the woman who's been through more heartbreak, rumors, and love roller coasters than most of us could ever imagine. After years of ups and downs with rapper T.I., countless headlines and public scrutiny, Tiny has finally broken her silence on the topic that fans had been whispering about for months: her secret wedding. Yes, you heard that right. Tiny has confirmed that she's moved on. And not only that, she's saying it proudly. "I don't regret anything. I deserved to be happy." Those words have completely taken over social media because they represent something so powerful: a woman finally reclaiming her peace after years of public chaos. Let's rewind for a second, because Tiny's story didn't start with glitz and glamour. For years, she was known as the glue of her family, the calm in the middle of chaos, and the woman who kept things together even when the world was falling apart around her. Her relationship with T.I. was one that fascinated fans. From the outside, it looked like a fairy tale. Two powerful people building an empire together, raising beautiful kids, and creating music and reality TV moments that fans couldn't stop watching. But behind those headlines was a lot of pain, sacrifice, and heartbreak that most people never got to see. Over the years, their marriage went through countless storms, from cheating allegations to public spats and temporary separations. Every time things got rocky, the internet would light up with debates. Some people defended T.I., saying that every relationship has its ups and downs, while others urged Tiny to walk away and find peace. Through it all, Tiny remained strong, showing up for her family, supporting her husband's career, and still keeping her own identity alive as a performer and businesswoman. But even the strongest hearts get tired, and eventually, Tiny reached a point where she realized that loving someone didn't mean losing yourself in the process. When she and T.I. officially went their separate ways, it wasn't just a breakup, it was a rebirth. She began rediscovering herself. Friends close to her said that they started seeing a different side of Tiny: calmer, more confident, and focused on inner peace instead of outer appearances. For the first time in years, she was prioritizing herself. And that's when the rumors of a new love started to swirl. It all began quietly. A few fans noticed that Tiny had been wearing a new piece of jewelry, a sparkling diamond ring that caught the light in one of her Instagram photos. At first, people brushed it off, thinking it was just another accessory from her glamorous collection. But then things started to look a little suspicious. Tiny began posting photos that hinted at something special: romantic captions, private getaways, and subtle messages about new beginnings. Then one weekend, a few exclusive photos started circulating online. The images showed what looked like a small outdoor ceremony: candles, flowers, and a woman in an elegant cream-colored dress who looked very much like Tiny. Standing beside her was a man with his face turned away from the camera. The pictures were grainy, but the details were undeniable. It looked like a wedding. Fans went into overdrive. Was Tiny married again? Was this her new beginning? Blogs exploded with speculation. Some said she secretly married a longtime friend. Others believed it was just a symbolic ceremony, a form of closure after her long relationship with T.I. But the one thing everyone agreed on was that Tiny looked happy. Her glow was undeniable. She looked at peace, something we hadn't seen in a long time. For months, she neither confirmed nor denied the rumors. Every time someone tried to ask, she smiled, deflected, or changed the subject. She posted photos with her kids, her escape sisters, and her close friends, but never mentioned the ring, the ceremony, or the man by her side. Fans couldn't help but wonder if this was Tiny's way of protecting something sacred, something she didn't want the public to tear apart. But now, Tiny has finally spoken, and she did it with grace, confidence, and truth. In a recent sit-down interview that has since gone viral, Tiny opened up about the rumors and confirmed that yes, she did indeed have a private ceremony. She described it not as a secret, but as something personal and meaningful that she didn't feel the need to share with the world. In her words, "People gon' talk no matter what you do. I've spent too many years living my life for everybody else, trying to make people happy, trying to prove something. But at the end of the day, I realized I wasn't doing enough for me. I don't regret anything. I deserved to be happy." The way she said it, calm, direct, and full of emotion, hit fans right in the heart. For so long, Tiny had been known as the ride-or-die woman, the one who stayed through everything. But this time, she was standing up for herself, not against anyone, but for her own joy. She explained that keeping the ceremony private was a conscious choice. She said she didn't want cameras, blogs, or judgment. She wanted love, peace, and authenticity. According to people close to her, the ceremony was small, elegant, and intimate, held at a private residence surrounded by only her closest friends and family. There were no celebrity appearances, no flashy headlines, just real, genuine happiness. And when asked how she felt after the ceremony, Tiny reportedly smiled and said, "Free." Now, let's talk about the question everyone wants to know. Who is the mystery man that captured Tiny's heart? Well, she's keeping his identity private, and that's probably for the best. But insiders say he's not a rapper, not an athlete, and not anyone from the entertainment industry. He's a businessman, someone who has known Tiny for years, and someone who's always treated her with quiet respect. Those close to her describe him as calm, grounded, and supportive, the kind of man who doesn't need the spotlight to prove his worth. He's reportedly someone who encourages her to keep pursuing her passions, to spend time with her kids, and to stay true to herself. A source told one blog, "He's the kind of man who doesn't compete with her shine, he amplifies it." Tiny feels seen, heard, and appreciated for who she really is, not for who people expect her to be. And honestly, that might be what she needed all along. After years of being in a relationship that played out under a microscope, having something private, peaceful, and drama-free probably feels like the biggest blessing in the world. When news of the interview dropped, the internet went wild. Some fans were overjoyed for Tiny, flooding her comments with congratulations, heart emojis, and supportive messages. Others were shocked, saying they had no idea she had even been seeing anyone. But perhaps the most common reaction was admiration. Admiration for the way she carried herself, the way she moved in silence, and the way she protected her peace. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "Tiny's glow says it all. She's finally putting herself first, and I'm here for it." Another said, "She was loyal for so long, even when it hurt her. She deserves to smile again." Of course, there were also critics, people who questioned why she kept it a secret or accused her of moving on too fast. But Tiny didn't let any of that faze her. When asked about the online chatter, she responded simply, "I'm not here to prove anything to the internet. The people who matter to me already know the truth, and that's enough." Even T.I., who's known for being outspoken, has reportedly stayed silent. Those close to him say he's aware of the marriage, but has chosen not to comment publicly. Some insiders say he's happy for her, while others believe he's quietly processing the news. But one thing is clear. Tiny has made peace with her past and is focused entirely on her future. What made Tiny's interview so impactful wasn't just the confirmation of her marriage, it was the wisdom she shared. She spoke directly to women who've spent years putting others before themselves. She said, "For a long time, I thought love meant holding on no matter what. But love isn't supposed to hurt. Love isn't supposed to take away your joy. Love should make you better, not break you." Those words hit home for countless women who followed her journey. Tiny's story has always been one of strength, loyalty, and perseverance, but now it's also a story of healing and self-love. She reminded everyone watching that sometimes walking away doesn't mean you failed, it means you've learned. She continued, "I used to think being loyal meant staying, even when it hurt, but I realized that real loyalty is being true to yourself first. I gave love everything I had. I don't regret it, but now I give that same energy to myself." However, there were moments when she walked away, only to be pulled back in by love, promises, and public pressure. But something changed after their final split. Tiny didn't come out bitter, angry, or desperate to tell her side. Instead, she went quiet, focused on her children, her music, and herself. Friends who spoke about her during that period said she had found a sense of calm, a new kind of confidence that didn't depend on anyone's validation. She had finally realized that her happiness couldn't be built around someone else's peace. Behind the scenes, Tiny was rebuilding, not for fame, not for headlines, but for her own sanity. She started rediscovering who she was before the chaos, before the cameras, before the pain. And that's where the story of this secret wedding begins, with a woman who stopped waiting for permission to love herself. It all started with whispers online. Around early this year, fans noticed something different about Tiny's posts. There was a glow to her, a joy that couldn't be faked. Then came the viral moment, a photo of her at a small family gathering, wearing what looked like a stunning diamond ring on that finger. At first, people brushed it off as just another piece of jewelry. But within days, multiple sources started hinting that Tiny may have secretly tied the knot in a private ceremony in Atlanta. The alleged event was said to be small, romantic, and deeply emotional. No cameras, no reality show producers, no big-name performances. Just close friends, family, and love. Some even claimed the ceremony took place in her backyard, under soft candlelight and white roses, a far cry from the lavish celebrity weddings we're used to seeing. But who was the groom? That's where things got interesting. Bloggers tried to connect dots, analyzing every photo, every social media post, every subtle caption. Some claimed she'd reconnected with a longtime friend, someone from outside the entertainment industry, a businessman who had known her for years but stayed far from the spotlight. Others insisted she just wanted to keep her new love life completely off the grid after everything she'd endured in public. The rumors only grew louder when Tiny stopped addressing questions altogether. She'd post cryptic captions about peace, love, and new beginnings, and fans began to piece things together. Could it be true? Did Tiny really remarry? And if so, why keep it a secret? Then came the day that broke the silence. During a recent sit-down interview with a major media outlet, Tiny finally decided to speak on the swirling rumors. And when she did, she spoke not from a place of defense, but from a place of peace. She smiled gently and said, "People gonna talk no matter what you do. I spent years trying to prove I was a good wife, a good woman, a good person. And in the process, I forgot that I needed to be good to myself too. So no, I don't regret anything. I deserve to be happy." Her words stopped everyone in their tracks, because you could tell this wasn't a rehearsed PR moment. This was a woman who had lived through storms and finally found the calm. She went on to say that her private life no longer needed public validation. She said, "I didn't want it to be a show. I wanted it to be real. Something just for me, my heart, and the people who truly love me." And that's when the pieces finally fell into place. Tiny didn't keep her wedding a secret out of shame or scandal. She did it because, for once, she wanted something pure, untouched by gossip blogs or fan opinions. It's easy to forget that celebrities, especially women, often feel forced to live their lives in front of an audience. Every emotion becomes content, every heartbreak becomes a headline. Tiny had already lived that life for years, the highs of fame and the lows of public humiliation. This time, she wanted to reclaim her narrative, to write her own story, quietly, peacefully, and privately. Now, of course, the question everyone keeps asking is, who is this mysterious man who captured Tiny's heart? While she hasn't named him directly, insiders close to the singer have hinted that he's not part of the music or entertainment scene. He's reportedly a grounded spiritual man who values privacy and peace, two things Tiny has been craving for years. What's more interesting is that they've known each other for quite some time. Sources say he was a friend who always respected Tiny's boundaries, never pushed for the spotlight, and always encouraged her to focus on her own happiness. In other words, he's the complete opposite of everything she's had to deal with in her public relationships. And apparently, what started as friendship slowly grew into something deeper. The bond was built on mutual respect, laughter, and emotional honesty. Tiny's friends reportedly adore him because of the way he treats her, like a woman who's finally free to just be herself. One insider said he doesn't compete with her fame. He admires her strength. He's not trying to control her or fix her. He's just there, giving her space to breathe and be loved. That's the kind of love story Tiny has always deserved.
Of course, when news broke of Tiny's rumored secret wedding, social media went wild. Fans were split between disbelief, excitement, and curiosity. Some celebrated her, writing things like, "It's about time Tiny chose herself. She's been through too much not to find real happiness." Others, however, were skeptical, asking why she kept it under wraps or suggesting she moved on too soon. But Tiny didn't let the chatter faze her. In the same interview, she responded gracefully by saying, "Everybody's got an opinion, but at the end of the day, none of those opinions live my life for me. I've cried, I've healed, I've grown, and when God gave me peace, I wasn't about to hide from it."
Even her ex, T.I., has reportedly kept quiet about the situation. Insiders claim he's aware of her new relationship but is choosing not to interfere, which honestly might be the most mature move we've seen from him in a long time. Maybe even he realizes that Tiny's finally in a space he couldn't give her, a space of peace, privacy, and self-love. What truly stood out in Tiny's recent statements was her message to women, especially those who've loved deeply, lost themselves in relationships, and had to rebuild piece by piece. She said something that resonated with so many. "For a long time, I thought being loyal meant suffering in silence. I thought being strong meant taking pain like a badge of honor. But love isn't supposed to break you, it's supposed to build you." That line alone struck a chord with fans all over the world. Tiny has always represented strength and resilience, but now she's showing a softer kind of strength, the kind that comes from choosing peace over chaos, self-love over sacrifice. She talked about how important it was to learn that happiness isn't selfish, that it's okay to start over no matter how long it takes. "I've done the work," she said. "I've healed, I've forgiven, and I've finally learned how to love myself enough to move on." That's not just a statement, that's a testimony. And it's one that so many women, especially those who've watched her journey unfold publicly, can relate to on a deeply personal level. Since then, Tiny has continued to quietly glow. Her recent social media posts radiate happiness, family moments, studio sessions, travel photos, and a newfound sense of peace. She's not flaunting her wealth or chasing headlines. Instead, she's simply living. Fans noticed how her captions have shifted too. No more cryptic heartbreak quotes, now it's affirmations, gratitude, and love. One recent post said, "Peace hits different when you had to fight for it." And that right there sums up everything about this new era in her life. She hasn't confirmed if there will be an official public ceremony or if she plans to legally change her name again, but honestly, that doesn't even matter. What matters is that she's finally happy, truly, unapologetically happy, and she did it on her own terms. This isn't the same Tiny we saw years ago on reality TV. This is a woman who's survived public heartbreak, rebuilt herself from the ground up, and now gets to wake up every day next to someone who brings her peace. That's growth, and it's beautiful. So when Tiny said, "I don't regret anything, I deserved to be happy," she wasn't just talking about a wedding, she was talking about her entire journey. Every heartbreak, every rumor, every tear, it all led her here, to this place of calm and self-assurance. She's proof that no matter how public your pain is, healing is still possible. That even after the most toxic chapters, you can still write something beautiful at the end. Tiny has stepped out of the shadow of her past and into her own light, and that's something worth celebrating. Fans flooded the comment section of her interview with messages of gratitude, saying her honesty inspired them to rethink their own relationships. Some said they were in tears listening to her. Others said she gave them the courage to choose peace over pain. Since confirming her marriage, Tiny's life seems brighter than ever. Her social media pages are filled with photos of her smiling, traveling, spending time in the studio, and enjoying moments with her family. She's not flaunting her new husband, but she's clearly living in a new kind of light, one that radiates freedom. She recently posted a photo of herself looking radiant with the caption, "Peace hits different when you had to fight for it." That post alone received thousands of comments from fans and celebrities alike, all praising her for stepping into her own power.
She's also hinted that she's back in the studio working on new music, which many believe will reflect this new chapter of her life, a chapter about strength, healing, and independence. And honestly, fans can't wait to hear it. So what can we take away from Tiny's journey? At the end of the day, it's not just about a secret wedding or a new relationship. It's about a woman who finally decided that her happiness mattered. Tiny has been through the fire. She's faced judgment, heartbreak, and public humiliation, but she's come out stronger, wiser, and at peace. Her words say it all. I don't regret anything. I deserved to be happy. In a world where everyone feels entitled to your story, Tiny chose to write her own ending, privately, peacefully, and on her own terms. And that's truly something powerful. So what do you think about Tiny's decision to keep her wedding private? Do you respect her choice to live quietly and focus on happiness? Or do you wish she'd shared the details with her fans sooner? Let me know in the comments below, because I know this story has everyone talking.